Namaste yogis, welcome to Mind Body Retreats Ibiza. I'm just on the roof at the moment in the Palapa in San Antonio Villa, and I'm going to show you a side plank Vashisthasana pose. A lot of people get into yoga to enhance their flexibility, but also people come into it if they're naturally flexible, then they want to develop their strength. Planking is a great strengthening exercise, really good for the core, but also good for the shoulders. And when I say the shoulders, I don't just mean this bit, the deltoid muscle at the top. I mean the entire shoulder girdle. Many different complex muscles involved in the joints in this area. And then also the upper back gets a huge amount of benefits from doing any planking postures. Okay, so to start out with it, let's just get some alignment tips. Placing the hands underneath the shoulders, feeling how high or how low your bum is in space. If your low back feels a little bit sensitive, it may be that the bum is out of line and that the core isn't doing any work to support you. So, by lifting the belly into the spine, we'll see a little bit of core engagement, and you'll certainly feel it. A way to feel that that's happening, if you're like, well, hey Steph, how do I engage my core just like that? Well, there's a couple of little tips that can help you energize through it. If you feel like you're pressing back and down with your heels and lifting through the crown of the head, then the spine, the whole back of the body is lengthening, and you can't help but draw the belly in as you really truly reach out through the crown of the head and back through the heels. Everything needs to tighten here to support you. Now, if you're practicing here, make sure that you're really pressing down into the fingers and that the fingers aren't lifting. If you do that, you might find that you start to get a little bit of pain on the back of the wrists. If you have pain in your wrists in your yoga practice, it might be down to the fact that the fingers aren't doing so much work. This is because we might be thinking a little bit too much about the pose. When we're thinking, oh, I can feel burn in my forearms. This is good burn. This is working the stabilizing muscles and spreading the hands, using as much of the hands as possible efficiently, rather than concentrating the area of energy into this small place. So when we really spread out the hands, feel that connection, especially here, right in the center, that it's spreading outwards. Ooh, and you're going to get some support in your plank, in your chaturanga, in your downward facing dog. That real connection of the index knuckles, the spread of the fingers. And all of a sudden, once you get over that sensation of burn in the forearms, you realize, oh, okay, I actually have access to way more strength than before. So now, the side plank, the side element. To move into this, it's a balance pose. So if you feel a little unstable, if you're still practicing here and it's very difficult to stay up for 5 long, slow breaths, then practice side plank with the knee down. So I'm going to move over onto my left hand and extend that right leg, and this is the plank. I'm taking the right hand up, opening out. Every time I inhale, I'm reaching that top fingertip up a little bit more so that I can get the benefits of really stretching out the front of the body. I'm feeling that I'm pressing down into this back foot flat so that I might be able, for a breath, not a hold of the breath, but for the movement of one exhalation, lifting that knee up and exhaling slowly, lowering it down. And then if you find that you can do this for a breath or two, have a go at the whole plank. So this is bringing your left foot behind the right foot on the ground, pressing both feet down, checking out if the hips are starting to sink. This is a sign that we're unstable in the core. We want to have that maintained line of straightness, integrity. Again, reaching through the crown of the head, reaching through the fingertips, reaching the hand on the mat, open out and wide. So the whole asana becomes an expansive experience. So if we feel quite stable here, then we can bring that right foot on top of the left one, flexing the foot back so that it stays nice and supportive and strong. You can practice here for a few breaths. Once you've practiced for a while and you feel really comfortable and stable, that you can still open throughout the chest, create space in the shoulder rather than jumping into the joint. When we dump into the joint, we're not really doing the greatest things for the pose because we're compressing the tissues and we're relying on the bone structure rather than building and expanding the muscles. So as much as getting the strength, we get the flexibility at the same time, and we really make everything efficient. So, like I said, to develop this pose, you can take the back leg up. You can practice here for a number of breaths, and try to do the same on the opposite side. Otherwise, just starting here, And taking your time, inhaling, exhaling. Moving with the breath. So practicing on the opposite side, you can come through the knees. You can take a chaturanga and do it quite strong in between. So the strong version is like this. Lots of practice, exhaling, slowly lowering down, lowering the body to a low plank, feeling the fingers are working, inhaling again, taking it to the opposite side. The transition with knees kind of looks like this. Inhaling, reaching, exhaling, lowering the hand and the knee at the same time, taking that low plank, chest is elbow height from the ground, taking the heart forward so that the fingers are working, and then inhaling again, lifting up on the opposite side. Try to balance both sides. And you can practice this dynamically again with this full chaturanga, exhaling, body stays straight. We're low plank, inhaling up, lowering the hand and foot at the same time, breathing in with the inhale and the lift, taking the foot up, avoiding the cactus, exhaling, lowering down, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. So this is the advanced version I'm showing you. Inhaling up. Feel free to modify it at any point. You know, your knee's always there to support you, so use it if you like. If you're feeling a little tired, you can take that knee down. Find my breath. Still working on spreading the fingers out, reaching up with the top fingers, opening the chest. And just for balance, I'm going to take my final plank on this side. Vashisthasana, lifting the toe. And then exhaling into Dandasana, plank pose, staff pose, and then lowering down the knees, taking a rest in child's pose. Okay, enjoy these modifications, practice safely, don't push your limits unless you really know what you're doing. So start easy, start with something that you don't feel, notice how it feels afterwards, maybe the day after, and then build your practice gradually over time. And this way you'll avoid injuries, you'll avoid strain that stops you coming to the mat again. This is all about getting on the mat every day and enjoying your body, because it's a wonderful thing. Whatever kind of shape it is right now, it's amazing. It does amazing things. See what